So I'm just a young stupid dog. Me and the man, we were tooling around in what you call in today's parlance, a meandering drive. It used to be called a Sunday drive. You know what I'm saying? Just on Sundays, hey, we're not middle class. We're working class. We're maybe lower work middle class. But what do you do on a Sunday? Sometimes you don't got nothing better to do. You pay a little extra, you put a little extra gas in the car, you go for a Sunday drive. You drive around, you tool around the countryside. So me and the man, in yesteryear's parlance, we were out on a Sunday drive. It was really, really enjoyable. He was going really particularly slow. Now, all we have is this little tiny Ford Festiva. But, if you roll down the windows, if you're out there in the hinterland where it's just like sticks, like the woods, Western Kentucky can be beautiful. You got to get in those lonesome, lonely country roads where there's not too many people. Not anything can happen out in those roads. Those are the moonshine roads. You know what I'm saying? Those are the roads where, God forbid, no one knows what's going on. Anyways, we bumbled effed around and we came across a tobacco farm. I looked at the man. The man looked at me because the man says, Dog, I thought all the tobacco farms had been, I thought Mitch McConnell phased out all the tobacco farms. I was like, yeah, well, look, here you go. Welcome to whatever year it was, 1960. Here we are. We just teleported right back into time. We're on a tobacco farm. Well, this is the crazy thing. There was this little, tiny, ancient, he looked like almost like a prune version. He had to be a Mexican, a Guadalajaran. You didn't know what this guy was. He had Aztec genes. This guy was an Aztec or a Mayan, okay? He's a little skinny guy. He's like 4 foot nothing, you know what I'm saying? He must have weighed 77 pounds. He had a little bit of musculature to him. He was a sturdy little guy. When you caught a look at him in his face, he looked like he had to be 109. Now, this is the particular thing that was really crazy. He was out there with a backpack, pumping up this thing. He had this hat on to protect him from the sun. He was as brown as a biscuit. I'm like, what do you got to protect yourself from the sun? You should eat the sun, you know what I'm saying? You're so brown, how are you going to get hurt by the sun? But he had a sun hat on. The funny thing is, he didn't have nothing to protect himself. And he was spraying this mist of chemical over the tobacco to kill some kind of I think it was a tobacco caterpillar or something crazy like that. It was something like a tobacco mite, a tobacco harmer, the tobacco weevil. I don't know, but he was spraying in this mist on the sun, and the wind changed. It blew right over top of him. And he covered up his face. He ripped out this bandana of his pocket. He covered over his face like he was petrified he would breathe this stuff. I'm like, this guy must have breathed 5 gallons of this by now over the course of his lifetime. This guy's 109 years old. He's petrified he's going to breathe in some toxic fumes from the spray mist. I mean, guy, this battle's been fought. You won, okay? If you die, you ain't dying from toxic exposure. I mean, if you die, it looks like now you're going to be dying of old age. Maybe some kind of old age-related cancer is going to get you in the bowels. But, bud, you don't got to worry about it. He was like petrified. He was like getting ready to die. I was like, where'd they get this guy from? Was this guy a prince that they starved in a cage and then they beat him and then they finally let him out and said, we're going to let you spray the tobacco, old man. This guy, he didn't have no history with all these toxic things and all this hard life. This guy was a 4'3". He weighed 77 pounds. He had to be at least 106 years old. And he was petrified that the wind was going to breathe some toxic chemicals back over his face. I'm like, God, bud, you don't got to worry. Whatever you got to worry about in this day and age, it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is that thing in people? This little Mexican or this Guadalajaran or whatever he was with a lot of Aztec or Mayan genealogy stuffed right there into the hearth of his Corsicks, you know what I'm saying? He had this will to survive, to protect himself. Like, God bless, look at this guy, He's petrified. He must have been spraying this shit for 35 years. You wonder, I was like, God bless, Everybody's trying to survive. Everybody's trying to live. I looked at the man, I was like, thank God we're on a Sunday drive. The man said, thank God, our forefathers didn't make it so that we had to spray tobacco on a hot sunny day and the wind should shift and blow all the toxic chemicals all over us and inundate our pores and get right on our thoracics, you know what I'm saying? Get right into your bloodstream that way. God bless. I was like, God, the man's worried about it. That's the thing. Dogs, we don't worry about it. Toxic chemical, schmoxic chemical. What am I going to have? What's going to happen? Toxic chemical, schmoxic chemical. That's what I say. But whatever, it's all right. Don't eat them MHO chips. I mean, I don't eat some MHO chips, all that glyphosate and the Roundup and all that shit. But I'm just saying, if I was a 109-year-old Mexican, I wouldn't worry about it. If a little bit of, miticide blew back over top of me, I'd be like, God bless you. I'm 109. I don't have that many more years anyways. It ain't going to be the miticide. Believe me, it ain't going to be the miticide that gets me. Whatever. It's all right.